Hey guys, welcome back to another video of Twilight Wars Browser App series. And in today's video, I'm going to be going over the newest release, which features a few changes, but the biggest one here is that we've now implemented the 13th faction into the Twilight Wars app, and it's the Naalu Collective. So to start, I'm just going to do a brief overview of the faction and what makes them unique, and then we'll be jumping into a demo game to illustrate how these unique abilities, technologies, and units work. So first we have the flagship Matriarch, and Matriarch offers pretty unique capability because it allows the Naalu Collective to use fighters in a ground combat if that flagship is present in the system. So what's going to happen basically is when you get to the step where you would commit infantry to the planet, you would commit infantry if you want, but then also committing fighters in the same way. So with the relatively new update of how you click and then use the new interface that comes up, the same thing's going to happen for fighters that we'll see later. Then for another unit ability, I guess this is one of their technologies, is the Hybrid Crystal Fighter, which you can upgrade to Hybrid Crystal Fighter 2, which has a special ability that we'll see in the game. Then we got faction abilities, telepathic, which means that basically we're going to be going first in initiative order in each turn because of that 0 token, and Foresight, where we're going to be able to retreat preemptively if another player activates a system and then brings ships into the system. So more of a defensive capability there. So that's the general overview. As well, we can see here we have starting text, Neural Motivator, and Starwing tools, and your starting units. But let's go ahead and look at a game demo here and illustrate some of these abilities. So we're playing with the green units as the Naalu Collective, and the first thing that I'm going to demo, well, not really, no, I guess I can demo it. So here we have, if we hover over these fighters, you'll notice they're alone, so obviously they're upgraded, because unupgraded fighters cannot be in a system on their own. But what you can see is that I have 5 fighters in the system, but if you look at my fleet pool, it's actually only 3. So at first it might seem like I'm breaking the rules here, but if we go to this look at the card ability here, we can see that, well, yeah, we can move without being transported. That's any fighter too, but also that each of these fighters in excess of our ship's capacity only counts as half against our fleet pool. So because we have a fleet pool of 3, we can actually have a total of 6 Hybrid Crystal Fighter 2s in this system. So we're one within the limit in that system there. So that's the ability of Hybrid Crystal Fighter 2. Now let's go over to this system, and we see here we have our flagship as well as these Hybrid Crystal Fighters. So we're going to go ahead and demo the Matriarch ability here. So we'll activate this system here, and then we're going to invade the opposing planet. So we'll activate it, and we'll pass on the ability round here. And then, of course, we're going to have to get the other players to pass. Okay. So now we'll choose our units to move. We actually have an infantry here as well. So we'll do that. Now we get to the stage of the game that's pretty familiar for anyone who's played the app, where you have to commit ground forces. So normally at this point we would only have the one infantry to commit. So we could do that. We can go, say, one infantry onto RNM, and so that infantry is there. But now the matriarch, has the ability here that during an invasion in this system, you may commit fighters to planets as if they were ground forces. And then after combat, we can return these to the space area. So we could do that here. We can commit these fighters to either planet, right? And you can see here it still says place ground forces. However, now it's asking us specifically to place our fighters. So same idea here, right? So all those fighters have been placed. We can confirm that we want to do this, and then we would go ahead and do that combat here. I'm not going to run through this combat just because it might take a while with 4 units, but now you can just see the idea of how it works, right? And then you would be able to assign hits to those fighters in the combat, like normal. And just click on them when you assign hits. The caveat here, of course, is if at the end of the combat, if you have no more infantry and you've destroyed all the other players' infantry, then your fighters won't be able to take the planet. They'll just come back up into space, and the planet will belong still to the opposing player. So I'll just reset this here, and I won't go through with this. I'll just commit no units, and we'll just pass. Right, so we're just gonna get this player to do something random. Okay, all right, so now we get to Charlie's turn, and Charlie is the purple player here. So what we're gonna see here is that in this beta wormhole system, Charlie has 3 dreadnoughts, and he might be looking to retaliate against us. So he might want to move all these dreadnoughts into this system. When that happens, we're going to be able to showcase a couple of abilities. Well, first we're going to showcase our faction technology, Neuroglaive. So when another player activates a system that contains 1 or more of our ships, that player has to remove 1 token from his fleet pool and return it to his reinforcements. So let's see that happen here. So Charlie's going to go ahead and activate that system. Okay, and then there's an ability round, and say Charlie will pass. Now, what's going to happen is, because Neuroglaive technically always has to get played, right? It's not you choose to play it. It has to be played, but because of the way the undo functionality works, the player has to use it. That way, the other player's undo window will end. So if I try to pass, the game will tell me I can't pass, and I have to use Neuroglaive. So we have to double click it, and then we confirm. And now when the other players go around and pass on the ability round again, so it comes back to us and we pass, what's going to happen now is we're going to get to the, well, I think I forgot to double check how many fleet tokens Charlie had, but I think he had 4. Unfortunately, he was in the limit, so I wanted to show that he was going to have to reduce his fleet pool, but I messed that up in the demo. Oh well. Basically, if Charlie only had, upon activating the system, if he only had a fleet pool of 3, then it would have got reduced to 2, and you'd have to destroy a dreadnought as a result. But as it stands, he had 4. Okay, so if we check the game logs, we can actually see Neuroglaive was played there. Okay, so now what Charlie's going to do is he's going to take his dreadnoughts and move them into the active system. So he will confirm that. And now that he's done that, and this is again one of the nice features of automated Twilight Imperium, is the game automatically will ask us to resolve the Foresight ability. So we don't have to worry about forgetting to use this ability, whether we wanted to or not, because it's an optional ability. So let's remind ourselves what this ability is. So if we go into our player info tab and click on the blue info icon, so Foresight says that after another player moves ships into a system that contains one or more of your ships, you may place one token from your strategy pool in an adjacent system that does not contain another player's ships. Move your ships from the active system into that system. So, what are our options? We have a few. We have 1, 2. I don't think there's any ships in here, so we could actually even retreat into the home system here, and here. But we can't retreat into this system with the carrier, so that's illegal. If we weren't sure what to do, we can click the help button, and the game will give us some help on how to use Foresight. So to use Foresight, you have to do a couple of things. It's basically the same as retreating. So you double click a system you want to retreat into, and then you select the ships and infantry, and you could take infantry from planets as well. And then you can click the green check mark to confirm, the red check mark to undo everything, and the pass button if you don't want to use it. So if I didn't want to do this, I'd click pass, but I do want to use it because I want to demo it. So let's say I try to retreat to this system, which is illegal. I double click it, and for now, the game will just say, okay, you're retreating into the Melon Zobat system. If I try to confirm without selecting units, then the game will tell me I need to select units first. So click on the system, and we can say select all our units, right? And we could even take these infantry from the planet here, right? So can't click a PDS though, but I can click this infantry. So now I get the confirmation message, right? The flagship, the infantry, the 3 fighters, the infantry. If I confirm, I can't because the system I'm retreating into is enemy ships. So that's not allowed. So let's try instead maybe to retreat into the other player's home system here. And now if I do it, okay, well, yeah, I have to get my units again. Now if I go confirm, I can actually do that. So we use the Foresight ability, and you can now see in the space region here, I have all the units that I wanted to retreat. Even that one infantry that used to be on Mir is no longer there. Looking at the game log, we can see here we have the Foresight ability was used. And let's go ahead and just not use Space Cannon. Charlie can end his turn. Okay. Right, so that's Foresight. So the other things that I need to demo here are, oh yeah, I want to demo the promissory note. So to do that, I'm going to have to just very quickly here alter a few things in the game state. But basically the promissory note, I'll bring it up on the screen here so you can see it. Oh, I think I might have already traded it away to someone preemptively. But yeah, so the way the promissory note works is, if you recall, if you recall, one of our faction abilities is with the 0 token. So the 0 token allows us to basically guarantees that we're going to go first in initiative order no matter what, because like let's say we take technology and imperial, it doesn't matter because we place the 0 token, well, it doesn't actually show up here in the game, but we place it, then we're allowed to go first. But so what I'm going to do here is just refresh this game state, and I'm going to check which player I traded that promissory note to. Okay, so I've traded to the red player, Barony of Letnev. So to demo this promissory note, we're going to go ahead and end our turn here because we got to get back to the status phase now. So we got to get the other players to pass as well, and we'll do that shortly. Okay, so we won't score any objectives, and then we'll go ahead and redistribute our command tokens after we discard an action card. The other players to discard. Alright, so let's go ahead and see how this works. So, as Alice, let's pick leadership so it's clear that we should be going first even with the 0 token. So there's no ambiguity about it. And then, well, because Bob has our promissory note, we'll get Bob to choose Imperial and Technology, just to emphasize that he should be going last under normal circumstances. And we'll take politics. Right, so now that we've all selected our strategy cards, we have an ability round at the end of strategy phase. And this is where the promissory note comes into play. So if we pass, and what's going to happen here is Bob, off screen, is going to play Gift of Prescience. So we've been prompted here that Bob has played the faction promissory note, and this is going to allow Bob to be first in initiative order for this round. So once everyone passes through the ability round here, you'll see now that everyone has passed that at the top left of the screen, it's actually Bob's turn to perform an action and not us, because we've lost our 0 token and these count for nothing, these strategy cards for initiative order with regards to Bob. We will go second still. So that's just kind of showing you 2-in-1 how both the faction ability works and the faction promissory note. Okay, I think I've gone through everything. A couple of other things with regards to updates. There's some, I believe it's during Space Cannon Defense, there's now a help feature. So during Planet Invasion, there used to be no help feature for what you can do to select, like how that works. The other feature, slight change is a lot of, well, maybe not a lot, but a bunch of component action cards had kind of poor confirmation prompts. For example, I think it was called, what was it called? Reactor Meltdown. Like you would select the space dock, but then the confirmation prompt would just say select using Reactor Meltdown, but it wouldn't tell you what space dock you chose. So now Reactor Meltdown, actually maybe I have it in my hand here, so I could actually demo that really quick. So once we get Bob to just do something random, and then we'll demo that. Right, so now with reactor meltdown, right, we have to choose one space dock in a non-home system. So there's one here. So the way you choose it is you click on the system and then you click the planet that has it. Then you go in and double click reactor meltdown. So we'll still be asked to play this card, but we'll be asked to confirm our choices. So when we click yes, now we actually are told that we're playing reactor meltdown, confirm selection of space dock 1 on Berg. And so that's just how some of the component action cards have gotten better confirmation dialogues there. Okay, so now I think I'm done. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the new updates and using the new faction that we've just put into the app. And take care, and we'll see you in the next video.